Good evening and welcome to Credit Talk. I am your host, Todd Stern, and for the next half hour, we will be discussing credit-related issues, credit reports, credit scores, credit repair, all those good things about your credit report. Now, let me tell you, this is a live call-in show, so if you have any questions regarding credit, please call us now because our lines do fill up. The number is on the screen, 312-738-1060, and the number behind us is the Help Center. So if you can't get through, be sure to call us at the Help Center, leave a voicemail, call during the day, we will get back with you. Okay, so tonight we've got a really exciting show. We're going to talk a lot about credit scores and what makes a credit score. That's the question we get at the Help Center all the time. How come I have a 700 and my brother has a 600? So let's talk about certain factors that calculate these scores. So I do have some demos for you, some presentations, and I know I'm going to have to zoom in on this a little bit. Okay, so the big four reasons. Personal information. This is what is part of your credit report that gathers into the credit score. Your personal information, public records, that's going to be collection agencies, bankruptcies, foreclosures, tax liens, any type of item that went through the court system will show up on your credit report. Credit history, that's going to be a list of all your accounts, how you pay it, what your balances are. If you pay on time, if you pay late, that shows up late as well. And credit inquiries. You know, what is a credit inquiry? We've discussed this before. So every time you apply for a credit card or a loan, that is going to show up on your credit report. And credit inquiries remain on your report for 2 years. So you got to be careful. The thing, if you get over 4 inquiries, you're going to get a negative rating with some of the credit monitoring services out there. They say that that's bad. A credit inquiry is probably 2 to 3 points, so you got to be careful. A lot of times when you go to car dealerships, they'll send it out to, 6, 7 different finance companies trying to get you a loan, and then if you go to 2, 3 dealerships, now you got 18 inquiries on your report. So we see a lot of times at the Help Center massive inquiries, and the people are like, what? How did that happen? And we explain. So be really careful about having your credit pulled. That could be a problem. Applying for credit cards, don't apply for too many at the same time. That's not good because if you have 5 inquiries from banks, that also sends up a red flag saying, why is this guy scrambling for credit? So you don't want to apply for credit cards all at once. I tell everybody, slow and steady wins the race, step by step. You cannot rush it. You're not going to be a 7. Somebody was in the Help Center today and said, how long will it take me to be a 740? Well, he had 0 credit. So I said, go out to the major banks and start out with a couple secured credit cards. And what is a secured credit card? That's where you put money in an account. They're going to give you a major credit card for that credit limit. Bottom line, though, it's going to show up on the credit report. So that's extremely important. So I always tell people not to go out and have a good time with the credit card. You're basically doing this to establish trade lines on your credit report. And even if you have 2 secured credit cards with a $500 or $1,000 limit, you're not going to be a 700 the first couple months. It's going to take some time. That's what credit scores, how they rise. And I'm going to show you a little explanation about how they are calculated. Let's zoom in on this a little bit. So, length of credit history is 15% of the factoring. So just what I was saying is that, you have to have your scores or open credit, for the longer they are, the higher your score is going to be. Types of credit in use, such as revolving being a credit card, installment loans, that's going to be a mortgage, a car. So they want to see a little bit of that. New credit as well. Now again, these 10% numbers can go either way. They can go up or down. So sometimes when you apply for new credit, that is actually going to lower your credit just for a little bit, but it will pop back up. That's why I say don't apply for so much credit at the same time. Payment history. Look at that. 35% of your credit score is payment history. Pay your bills on time. That's what I tell people all the time. And if you have major credit cards, and that's what I want you to have, is just a couple cards. Don't fall into that trap of having the department store credit cards. It's nothing but trouble. We've seen hundreds of thousands of people in the center and talk to them on the phone, and we review the reports, and the problem is they get so many of these department store credit cards, and that is a huge domino effect. They don't pay one on time, they forget, they're busy, they're sick. I've heard every excuse. They go out of the country, but that's the problem. So with the major credit cards, what you can do is usually have a automatic payment set up. So for some reason, if you miss that payment, it's going to automatically debit the minimum amount from your checking account. So make sure that your card is linked to a checking account that has money in it, because again, if you miss it, it's gonna draw it automatically. And nowadays, I gotta be honest with you, I don't even remember when the last time I've written a check and sent it to pay a credit card bill. I do everything online. It's so much easier. You know it's happening. The problem again with the mail is once it leaves your hands, God knows what happens. Not any disrespect to our postal employees, because there's a lot of great people out there, and we've helped a lot through the center over the years, but things happen. Things get lost. So you got to be extremely careful about that. So I like paying online, having anything every set up. I pay it, bam, it's done. It usually posts in a day or two. So I definitely suggest doing everything online. Okay, amounts owed. That's another 30% of your credit score. So look at that. Payment history and amounts owed, your balances, are huge factors in your credit score. So as far as balances, 30% of the credit limit. So if your credit limit is $1,000, anytime you go over $300, that is going to affect your credit score. And listen, in today's age, it's really easy to go over $300, but that's another reason why I like paying online. If you know that you are going over that amount and you have a big bill, what's to stop you from paying a little bit each week? You can do that. What I've told people over the years, people who have money, who have a lot of money, don't all of a sudden, most people don't all of a sudden save it all at one time. It's step by step. So that's very important management. So you want to save, you can put away whatever every week or every month out of your paycheck. I don't care if it's as little as $50. Put it in some sort of savings account. At least before you know it, it starts building and you have that money for either retirement or a rainy day. So that's, really important to do as well. We don't want to be in that credit card trap. I'm going to show you something here which is very interesting. Credit score averages. Let me zoom in on this a little bit too. So this is showing you percentages. So 300 to 579. I've never really seen a 300. I've seen 500s, but 17% of our population has, that low score. 580 to 669 is 19%. 670 to 739. Now we're talking, decent scores there. You can get your FHA mortgage with a 640 or above. So, you want to be at least that. But that next number there, the 670 to 739, if you have to get a conventional type of loan, it's much better. Now, as you see how the breaking point, that's 22%. It's amazing, which is really good about our society. 23% of people out there in America have credit scores between 740 and 799. That's really, that's millions and millions of people. So that's really, really good. And the beauty about that, that's tier 1 financing. You see those commercials where the car companies are offering 0% financing for qualified buyers. Tier 1 financing, they might say. Well, there you go. That is your tier 1 financing, 740 to 799. Now, to be honest with you, like anything over 740 is good, super good. So I get people that might call us and they say that, wow, we're a 760, but I want to be a 790. And I say, why? Why do you want to do that? What's the difference? We look at the report. You pay your bills on time. Your balance is below 30%. You know, why it isn't a 790, we don't know. Everybody's file is different. There's so many calculations. But I tell the people, bottom line, 760 is a great score. You don't have to worry about it. You're going to get everything that you want. So, again, now 800 to 850. I mean, I've seen 800 to 810. I've never really seen an 850. But 19% of the population out there is 800 or above, which is just really, really good. There's a very responsible people with their money and know how to pay their bills on time and just don't get into those credit traps, which I don't want to see you get. Again, this is a live call-in show. My name is Todd Stern. We're here talking about credit. Feel free to give us a call at 312-738-1060 with any question that you have regarding your credit report. If you don't get through to us today, again, feel free to call us at the Help Center. And I'll flash the number up here. You want to write that down because a lot of times people do call and don't want to discuss their stuff on TV, which I understand. So give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to help you. So what other calls do we get at the Help Center? We talk about all kinds of topics. What's actually interesting? Somebody actually called us today about website fraud. And this is something, it's still fraud. There's credit fraud, there's web fraud. So bottom line, he has a website here, and he found out that another company basically stole his website and took his website that he had custom built, and they slapped their name on it. And he's like, what's going on with that? We actually helped him out. We figured out who this company was, and they contacted the other website people. The guy had no clue. He's like, oh my gosh. Bottom line, he hired a company in India that took his $1,500, just scanned through Google and found a website and spent 5 minutes on it, slapped this guy's name on it, and bam, the guy's got a website, which now he's got to take that website down. Okay, let's go to our first caller. Hello, caller.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I have a question. My credit card bills are piling up, and I talked to a friend of mine who basically took money out of their 401k to pay their credit card bills off. Do you think that's a good idea?
It's not a bad idea because remember, credit card interest is extremely high. Now, as long as you have a master plan, because you do have to repay that money back into your 401k. So a lot of times people might take loans against the 401k and forget that they got to pay them back. And that you have to, calculate that into your budget as well, because that might come out of your paycheck to repay back the 401k. But you got to kind of weigh it out, depending on what the interest rate is. Credit cards could be 18%, and if you miss payments on there, they have an acceleration rate which can jump up to 28, 29%, which is crazy, but it does go that high. And again, what is your interest? Well, how much? Unfortunately, the last couple of years have not been that good in the market, so it might not be a bad idea to get rid of that debt and quit paying that 18 to 29% interest. But so yeah, definitely it can be done, but don't go into it with blinders on. Make sure that you have a master plan and realize that, hey, this has to be paid back, or there's implications with that as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. So that is actually an excellent question. Credit card bills, people we get and they pay just the minimum balances. We had somebody that came into the center. He had about $80,000 worth of credit card debt. His credit was perfect, but he was only paying the minimum amounts. So I said to him, Mr. Person, I don't want to say the name, are you going to be able to pay these off? He said, no, I can't pay these off. I make X amount, and I'm struggling here. So basically he said, you know what? You need to file a bankruptcy. We referred him to a bankruptcy attorney, took care of that. We talked to the gentleman, a couple months after the bankruptcy, and he actually called us thanking us because he said, I can actually breathe now. He goes, I had nothing. I had all my money that I had was going to pay these credit card debts. He goes, when I incurred the debt, I was making money. But his job changed, and unfortunately, he could not pay the debt. So that's why we always tell everybody out there, make sure that if you are going to charge this stuff, that you do have a master plan that you can pay your credit back. So I do want to talk about something else. Let me just go to another slide here. Let's see here, and I apologize. Whoop. Okay, where are we here? Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Technical issues. But another issue that we get several calls on at the center are collection agencies. What should I do about this collection agency that calls me? First thing we'll say, is it showing up on your credit report? No, it's not. Well, how much is it? It's $200. I said, do you have the $200 to pay it? Yes, I do. Pay that collection and pay it in full because, well, a couple of things. If it hasn't hit the credit report yet, then definitely pay it because you don't want it to go onto the credit report. You're stopping some damage. Now, if you do have something like that on your credit report and you are getting calls from the collection agency, and this happened to somebody we know that actually a very rich guy, he was out of town and something happened and the bill was sent to him at his home out of state. It was from one of these medical things. He didn't know about it, never really saw the bill. Got a call from a collection agency one day and they said, you owe $200, we'll take $140 today. The guy's like, oh, okay, sure. He's never had any collection issues before, so didn't realize what the problem was going to happen. Now the credit report got marked settled for less than full amount. Now what happened? His credit score dropped 65 points. Luckily, we were able to talk to the collection agency, and they verified that, yes, this wasn't his correct address, and they said that they would remove it from his credit report. So the guy got very lucky because this was actually stopping him from getting a mortgage. So he was very grateful. We were able to help him out, point him in the right direction. So again, with collections, you do have to take those seriously. So if they haven't hit your report yet, and you can pay them because this is money that you owed. And also, usually when you get them right at the beginning, there's no markup. As they go down the line, they start charging fees and interest. What we see mostly are medical collections. And the people will tell us, oh, well, I have health insurance. But you got to remember, you have a deductible. You have to spend a ton of money, in the doctor's office or the hospitals before you're 100% covered. So health insurance, which is a great thing, but which is very expensive, is not for the cough and cold. It's really to cover you in a major incident where you're hospitalized. So if you go to the doctor for a cough or a cold, most likely, they cover a certain part of it, or they will have the contracted amount, so it is discounted. But there's usually going to be a difference, which gets applied to the deductible. So that's what we see on the credit reports is so many times. As soon as we see it, $50, $70, $100, we know right away that that's most likely the difference between what the insurance company paid and what you owe. So you got to stay on top of that. So let's go to some more slides here. And this is a question we get all the time. Does credit repair really work? And again, we've talked to hundreds and hundreds of people out there, and we've asked them about credit repair. We've seen the websites. We've talked to the credit bureaus. Yes, it does work for the right person. If a company that you talk to for credit repair, number one, a couple things about it. If they start making you all kinds of crazy promises, I hear stuff all the time. Well, they want to charge me $4,000. They promise everything will come up. I tell them, well, why don't you tell them to go buy a lottery ticket? If they're that sure of stuff, you can't do that. And I say to them, are they charging you all at once? Yes. Well, that's an upfront fee, and that's illegal. So whatever company that you do use, they got to charge you a monthly fee. You cannot charge advance fees. It's got to be a month-to-month program. So remember that when you talk to these companies. And I always say, go on Google, check them out, look at the reviews. Let's go to our next slide. This is we just touched base about this. What should I look for in a credit repair company? Again, what I just mentioned, the reviews online. And they're required to provide consumers with, written contract. Make sure that if it's one page, they're not in compliance. They have to provide you certain things like consumer disclosures. They have to have 2 notices of cancellation. So by law, a company that you sign up with, you have a 72-hour window that if you want to cancel, you sign those papers and you're entitled to a full refund. So make sure that they have that. And again, if they make you all kinds of promises, be a little leery about that. Let's see what else. Make sure they have an office. If a guy that's working out of his car, and a good credit repair company will also offer you a credit report for free, or if you have one, they will review it. And we know companies that we've talked to out there that, they tell us that they've turned down people because they're just not the right candidate for the service. So make sure that you talk to these companies. I think we have time for about one more caller, so let's go to that call. Hello, caller.
Yes, hello. My wife and I have this conversation all the time. What's better when it comes to paying off credit card debt? Do you want to pay off credit cards that have the lowest balance, or credit cards that have maybe the highest interest rate or the highest amount of credit on it, that we owe?
Sure. I think number 2, the high interest rates and the high balances, because as we discussed before, you want to keep it under 30% of the credit limit. So if you have some cards that have low balances, then okay, that's fine. Keep them the way they are, but work on those high balance cards and try to, by lowering them below that 30%, it's going to boost your credit score, number 1. Plus, the more the balances and the high interest, the more juice you're going to pay interest. So yeah, definitely work on those cards. Okay, I think we lost that caller now, but yeah, again, watch your bills and make sure that the higher credit cards do get paid off first. Okay, let's go back to our slide. We have a couple more minutes. How do they do it? So what credit repair companies do, they use the laws basically in the Fair Credit Report. They challenge your negative information on your credit report. It has to be 100% accurate, verifiable. So again, if a company makes you all kinds of promises that they guarantee that they can get everything off for you, run the other way. Be very, very, very careful with that. And a reputable company, again, can you do this yourself? Absolutely. The internet, you can learn how to do things, but it's a lot of work, and you might not be able to accomplish it yourself. So again, seek out professional help if you're in a credit matter for debt consolidation or credit repair, or if you need to file a bankruptcy, talk to a bankruptcy attorney. I mean, we see it all the time where on credit reports they say pro se and they went and filed their own bankruptcy. That's like crazy. I mean, I couldn't go into court and file a bankruptcy. I don't do bankruptcy. So what do I know about that? Yet alone somebody that's not even in this credit field going to file a bankruptcy themselves. It's just, seek out professional help when it comes to that. We're going to talk just a little bit more. Great credit score as we discussed. Look at this one, 797. Awesome. Look at the guide there. It's right in the middle of that 800 point. So over 800, it tips it to an excellent score. So again, if you need to talk to us at the Help Center, because I know a lot of people don't want to discuss this stuff online on the TV show, give us a call, 773-862-4000 is our hotline at the Help Center. So some sad news is that this is actually our last show for the quarter. We found that out today because our brand new station opened up and it kind of messed up the quarter, but we will be back on the air in October. I want to thank everybody here at CAN TV. The staff has been awesome. This facility is just absolutely phenomenal. So really want to thank everybody for watching. If you have any questions, again, please call us at the Help Center. I'll flash that number up one more time and give us a call. You can leave a voicemail right now and we'll give you a call back. I want to thank my executive producer, Marisol, for doing a great job. Thank you very much, and we will see you in October. Have a great 4th of July. Thanks.